Rise and grind, folks. What we've had here is another video. This is an oil furnace in straight AC. I am out here because the customer said that the AC unit was freezing up. And guys, the reason why I'm making this video is you never want to add refrigerant until you confirm that the blower motor is running. Now, the reason why I said that, guys, if I didn't know that and I just went outside to add refrigerant, for one, it's not smart to add refrigerant to a system that's frozen over. You have to thaw it out first. But in this scenario, guys, the system was frozen up, and immediately, guys, when I see a frozen system, you don't have to put your gauges on for that. But when I see a frozen system outside, I immediately go downstairs and I want to make sure that my airflow is correct, because as you guys can see, this is my evac coil. That's my oil burner. This is my evac coil. If you don't have airflow going across this coil and the condenser outside is running, this thing's going to freeze up. And if this thing is frozen up real bad, guys, refrigerant is not going to flow through the coil, and you'll have to wait until it thaws out before you go out to add refrigerant. But guys, upon arrival, right now my fan is running, and this is an old school belt driven motor. As you can see, this bad boy is running. But upon arrival, guys, this fan wasn't running, and this is mainly like heating related, but this turns over to AC problems as well, guys. Whenever I have a blower motor not running, you want to check any immediate safeties near the blower. I know on a lot of gas furnaces, you could have a blower limit switch or any controller or any safety switch near the burner assembly. And reason being, guys, if you see a safety switch, which could look like a flame roll-off switch, if you see any of that near the blower motor, reason for that, guys, if this blower compartment gets too hot, that safety is going to open up to allow this fan to stay on to cool this area down, so the furnace cabinet doesn't get too hot. But guys, this furnace didn't have one, and remember, guys, the system was freezing up when I got here, and the only way I can get this blower motor to turn on is by manually turning on my fan limit switch. Now, guys, for those that aren't familiar with these fan limit switches, these are only on very, very older furnaces, and you still have these on oil fire furnaces as well. But guys, purpose of the fan limit switch, hence fan limit. So this is a dual operation controller. This fan limit switch, it controls the fan. Okay, this controls the low speed of your fan motor, but this thing also acts as a limit switch. What I'm touching right now is the heat exchanger. This is the coil that heats up and delivers heat in the wintertime. This switch, whenever the heat exchanger gets hot, is going to turn your burner off, and it's going to turn the fan on to allow the furnace to get to cool down. Because guys, the purpose of a limit switch or a fan limit switch, it controls the temperature of your furnace to allow this furnace to stay below a predetermined temperature. Typically, guys, that would be 180. On oil units, it could be 200. For instance, this one is at 2. But guys, like I said, the limit switch is a limit switch. It's fairly common, but this fan limit switch acts as a dual setup. A limit switch not only controls the burner, turn it off, but it also allows the fan to turn on as well whenever the burner turns on, like on the call for heat. And also, guys, this thing turns the fan off once the call for heat ends. So in a nutshell, guys, thermostat calls for heat in the winter, burner fires up first to preheat the furnace. This limit switch, which is like a dial, it rotates, and once this furnace reaches a certain temperature, this thing will turn on the fan and allow the fan to work. Now, guys, the reason why I'm going through this, I know that was a lot to go over, and I'm not out here for the heat, I'm out here for the AC. If you manually, I'm talking in the summertime, and this can be in the winter too, but preferably in the summertime, if you're out here on the oil burner or on the oil fired furnace in the summertime, if you got your outside unit running and your blower motor isn't, what you can do is just try turning that dial manually. And listen to this, guys, if your fan turns on only by you switching that dial, then that means there's an issue at your fan center. And guys, what you can always do, I didn't show you guys this, but I always check for power as well. Even though my condenser is running, you always want to make sure that your thermostat is sending power from R to G. And let me show you guys something here. I'm trying to do this with one hand. Now guys, assuming my thermostat is wired up correctly, you see your terminals here. And guys, once again, this is a fan center. A fan center has a transformer and a relay built into a box. And what this thing does is that it controls the fan on a call for heat and a call for AC. Now guys, no, let me rewind that. This only controls the fan on a call for AC. Remember guys, the fan limit switch controls your blow motor on a call for heat. So remember guys, your blow motor, which is on the back side here, the low speed wires go to that fan center, but my high speed wires go straight into my fan center. And this fan center has constant power on one side, and it's going to send power to my other side, which is my high speed wire for my fan, only on a call for AC. Now guys, back to what I was saying here. I'm locating my R to G, and if this thermostat is calling for the fan to turn on for AC, I shouldn't have any volts. But from R to C, guys, this is testing my transformer. I have 24 volts. So this tells me that my transformer is okay. And on a call for AC, if I don't have power between R and G, this tells me that my thermostat is calling. Now, if I did have power between R and G with the thermostat calling, and that tells me either my wire's messed up or my thermostat is bad. But guys, I didn't have power between R and G, so I knew my thermostat was calling. But guys, just to recap this here, so you guys didn't get lost in translation from me describing the fan limit switch. Unit was freezing up. I didn't add refrigerant outside. I shot down here. The belt was still on the belt-driven motor, okay? Everything was, the fan wasn't working. The only thing I heard was a buzzing sound at my fan relay controller, and the only way I can turn the fan on is by me manually turning that fan limit switch dial there. If I were to go upstairs, guys, and turn my thermostat to fan auto or fan on, still no fan. The only thing that ran was my condenser. But guys, me being a magician here, or at least I try my best to be, this part here is what makes this fan relay controller interesting. Like I say, guys, this fan relay, okay, is nothing more than a transformer and a relay. Transformer sets power down, okay, from 120 down to 24. But guys, this relay is what takes that constant power and it sends it to the blower motor on the call for AC, guys. This is very important. On a call for AC, remember, on a call for heat, the blower motor gets turned on from the fan center. Okay, but guys, remember, this fan relay controller here, this fan relay, we call these peanut relays. This thing was burning hot, and that is a dead giveaway, guys. If this thing wasn't getting power, of course it would be cold. But if this thing wasn't getting power, then that would have been a dead giveaway. My condenser wouldn't run unless I had control voltage or low voltage downstairs. So I knew I had power, guys, and I knew that fan motor was okay. And that's another reason, guys, why I turned this fan relay switch. You know, I manually turned it. I just want to make sure my motor was okay. So I didn't have to get too crazy opening up wires. I just flipped it around, and like I said, just so you guys know here, see that fan on? It says fan off, fan on, and limit. If I flip this that way, then that will pretty much send power to my low speed of my fan. If that fan was bad and I did that and it still wouldn't run, that would lead me to believe that that motor is shot. And I could have verified that by checking power as well. But once again, guys, you know, you get around this long enough. I'm only showing you a technique that works for me. But guys, like I said, I knew I had power at my motor, and I knew my motor was okay because I manually turned the dial. And you don't want to get too crazy, guys, turning this dial, because this is a helix coil here. You don't want to put too much strength on it and warp it. But I just turned it once and it turned on, so I didn't have to keep doing that, you know, a lot. So I just did that once and the fan turned on. And I had 0 volts between R and G, so that pretty much tells me that this relay had 120 and it also had 24 volts. But like I said, this thing was burning hot, and the purpose of this relay, guys, is the same thing as a contactor. It has constant power on one side, which is your line side, and your load side is on the right, meaning the load is what needs the power. In this case, it'll be your fan. And guys, remember, power doesn't pass over from one side to the other unless your coil gets energized. So guys, there you have it. I just popped a new coil in. I just popped a new relay in. Like I said, we call these peanut relays. And as you can see, this bad boy's been on the truck for a while. But guys, and as you can see, this says double pole, double throw. Double pole, double throw means, and this is the old one, but the new one actually had 2 sets of contacts. You got L1 load and you have L2 load. So I could have did this 2 different ways here, but as you guys can see, it's always worth having contactors and peanut relays on your truck. Because like I said, guys, 80% of the problem is electrical. And like I said, moral of the story, guys, if you don't remember anything from this video, never add refrigerant to a system unless you verify that the freaking fan motor is running. Because guys, that's the easiest way to burn through a tank of refrigerant. I did it in my earlier days. I'm not proud of it, but guys, look, you got to learn one way or another. But it's very, very important to learn from other people's mistakes. And once again, I'm telling you my mistakes. Never assume that just because the unit is frozen up that it needs Freon. Go downstairs. I don't care how long it takes you. If you got to get a ladder, if you got to wait 30 minutes for a customer, make sure that your freaking fan motor is running before you get crazy with adding Freon, because this stuff is not cheap. And once again, I'm in the middle of nowhere. It definitely would have took me at least 40 minutes to go to the supply house to get refrigerant. But guys, me slowing myself down, I'm like, wait a minute, let me go downstairs and make sure that the fan is running before I turn this Friday afternoon call into a freaking nightmare. So there you guys have it. I'm gonna pack this bad boy up. Drop a comment, let me know if you guys have any questions. Peace out. I'll see you on the next one.